boys, that watchword that burned as we glowed, that labor must rise from its knees, boys, and claim the broad earth as its own.
This is kind of a special location for this event because of that. If anybody hasn't noticed it, I certainly did after many performances in this place in various different bands over the 30 years. So this statement by James Connolly plays a very big role in this whole story. To summarize in a nutshell, I turned 60 on July 14th, 2011, and as everybody knows, July 14th is the date of the inaugural battle of the Great French Revolution. And we wanted to celebrate revolution by singing revolutionary songs. And since most of my friends in Switzerland, where I now reside, are Irish, as opposed to French, we decided we would sing Irish revolutionary songs. And our attention quickly began to focus on James Connolly, partly because of that statement, partly because my collaborators in this project, Joe McHugh and Alan Burke, who are Irish, are good Connolly men, and wanted very much to perform songs of that, let's say, era or generation. There are, as you are aware, thousands of revolutionary songs in the Irish tradition, but the ones by Connolly emphasize internationalism, socialism, and revolution in the modern sense of the word, whereas many of the traditional Irish songs, old Irish songs, go back to the Fenian Rising, back to the rising of Theobald Wolfe Tone, and so on and so forth, an earlier revolutionary tradition. So we began searching for songs and for songs of freedom, which was the book from which this quotation is taken. And I thought, actually, when we began, that it would be very easy to find this book, that it must be, available all over the place, at least in Irish bookstores or in Ireland. And it was with some surprise that I encountered a guy in County Mayo at Rare and Collectible Books in County Mayo who told me, "You'll never find a copy of this because only one exists." And that one resides in the Dublin National Library, the National Library of Ireland in Dublin. And I said, well, but we have to put this repertoire together. We only have a few months. What can you suggest? And he said, well, you can get the James Connolly Songbook, which was put out in 1972 by the Cork Workers Club. That's still available. That's in print. You find a copy somewhere, which I did. I found it at a bookstore in London and ordered a copy, and we started to work. This was, you might say, made more difficult because there was no music. There were just the text of the songs, and in a couple of cases there was a reference to a traditional air that we could learn. And even though Joe and Alan are traditional Irish musicians in the sense that they play a vast repertoire of old songs, they didn't know what music accompanied these texts either. And so at first we started to search, recordings, YouTube, other people's libraries, or record collections, what have you. But pretty soon we realized we were just going to have to write our own music. That if we wanted to have a repertoire that was preponderantly Connolly lyrics, we're going to have to write our own music to this. And we were encouraged in this regard because, first of all, we were aware of the fact that Connolly had not been a traditionalist at all. He had used popular songs, Scottish, English, Irish songs that the workers were singing at the time, because he wanted them to sing the lyrics that he was putting to these songs. In other words, he wasn't concerned about it being correct or traditional in some sort of ethnic sense. He was concerned primarily with the utility of the songs and that they would be sung or singable by workers of the day. The second thing was that in the James Connolly Songbook, in the introduction to the James Connolly Songbook that we had to work with, the writer of that introduction had specifically said that while music, tunes, melodies go in and out of fashion. They pass out of use. The lyrics remain relevant, and they encouraged workers of today to make contemporary music to suit these lyrics. So that's what we felt empowered by these instructions and by this example to do what we liked with the music and not be confined by any sense of right or wrong musically, traditionally or otherwise. We did the concert. It was a big success. We had a lot of fun, and I thought more or less, well, that's that. But Joe and Alan insisted that was not that it was very important that this music and that James Connolly's lyrics in particular be brought out, if for no other reason than the dire situation that the Irish people are facing today. And so I said, okay, well, let's investigate. We can't just throw out an album. There's so much music out there. We have to be able to do something to make this a more significant event. And besides, there must be somebody in Ireland who's already done this. And so I took it upon myself to go to the National Library and look at the songbook, see the actual Songs of Freedom. And seeing this was a revelation, because not only is that quotation in it, but the rest of the introduction that Connolly wrote made clear a couple of very important things. One was that this songbook was published in America, not in in Ireland. It was never actually published in Ireland at all. Secondly, it was dedicated to the American working class, and specifically, Connolly said that this is the contribution of Irish authors to the socialist poetry of the world. So it was both an internationalist gesture and a gesture of revolutionary socialist outlook to the American working class, which I had no idea about before. Secondly, the fact that it was done in 1907 and actually preceded the you might say more famous and more readily available IWW songbook of 1911, in which Joe Hill's and other wobbly songs are contained, was for me a revelation as well, because it's sort of, that's interesting, because I knew that Connolly had come to the United States, had actually joined the Wobblies in 1905 when it was formed. He came as originally as a speaker, because he'd published a fine book called Labor and Irish History, which was well known in the United States. It was actually a path-breaking history, which I recommend everybody read. And then he'd joined the Socialist Labor Party, and so he was in both the Industrial Workers of the World and the Socialist Labor Party when he put out Songs of Freedom. And it appears, to me, it's quite clear that his motivation was that in a multilingual and multinational working class, which he encountered in this country, with Yiddish speakers, with Finns, Swedes, Italians, all speaking different languages, all thrown into the dark satanic mills of capitalism and the mines and the docks and the other places that Connolly himself was organizing, that the use of music, what this statement is about, was quite practical. It was not just a matter of spiritual uplift, although that's important, but it was in fact necessary to unite people in song. That songs were actually a very important means of bringing people together and uniting the working class. So with that, I came to San Francisco in 2012, and we had a meeting of a number of people here in the Bay Area, one of whom put me in touch with Jim Lane in Cork, Ireland, who, it turned out, was not only a member of the Cork Workers Club, but was the actual author of the James Connolly songbook, which we had been using. He wrote the introduction, and when I told him what we were doing, that we were going to revive the Songs of Freedom, and we would be putting out a CD which included the music that we had put to the lyrics that we found in the James Connolly songbook, he said, "Oh, but there's one more thing." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, there's the 1919 souvenir program." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, you remember in the James Connolly songbook, there's an introduction. In the introduction, it describes a concert that was held in Dublin in 1919 and placed under the Domain of the Realm Act which means that the British, who still controlled Ireland, of course, at that time, forbade the concert, and they brought out the troops to actually suppress it. And this concert was to commemorate Connolly's birth, 3 years after he had been executed in 1916. And in this songbook, or in this program, were the texts to a number of songs. And when I saw this, when Jim Lane sent it to me by email, I said, "This is amazing. This is yet another important historical document that people have not seen for 100 years. It needs to be included in this book." So we have Songs of Freedom, the original, actual facsimile of the book. You will see exactly what it looked like, including the errors that were perhaps by Connolly himself corrected. We left them exactly as that book appears. We have the 1919 souvenir program, which I'll talk more about when we actually play the music. And we have the 1972 James Connolly songbook, although we didn't reprint the entire thing because actually you can order that yourself. That is still available. So we only included those parts that were necessary to complete the picture here. One last word about this before we start to play, and that is that what I discovered from Jim Lane was not only the 1919 songbook, but the discrepancies between the contents of Songs of Freedom, which contains 9 Connolly texts and 9 more by other Irish authors, the 1919 souvenir program, which only contains a couple of texts by Connolly, and the 24 songs that are in the James Connolly songbook that are by Connolly. And this discrepancy was explained by Jim Lane, who said that over the years, he painstakingly collected songs or texts. They weren't necessarily even songs. They might have just been poems that were printed in the Workers' Republic or in the Harp or other publications that Connolly was the editor of, and had been laying disused in the Cork City Library for many years. And so what we have then is the most comprehensive collection of Connolly's texts anywhere available that we know of. Perhaps another song or two will appear at some point, but to the extent that we're aware that this is it. So with that, we'll begin. Comrades, clasp hands, the time demands. This night we spend enjoying the jovial word round festive board, grim carkin care destroying. Liquor this night shall sparkle bright with homage paid and beauty, and brave men who off conflict do shall take a rest from duty. Then we'll love with murder, pledge every man his neighbor, that in the light of truth he'll fight to win the world for later.
Comrades, the tears our class through years has shed the wide world over, have taken root, and soon the food our tyrants shall discover. And when at length we show strength and send each despot flying, with joy and mirth like ours the earth shall hail oppression dying. Then fill the cup with liquor, pledge every man his neighbor, that in the light of truth he'll fight to win the world for labor.
For who with zest can laugh the best, but he who laughs the longest. And in the fight twixt wrong and right, the laugh is with the strongest. Since time began fate's mighty plan, the laugh gave to the proudest. But history shall tell that we did laugh the last and the loudest. Then fill a cup with liquor, pledge every man his neighbor, that in the light of truth he'll fight to win the labor.
Then comrades toast great freedom's host, and loudly sing her praises. And honored be all land and sea, whoever banner raises.
especially interesting insofar as Connolly himself was a teetotaler. He never drank, but he obviously wanted people to celebrate in the customary fashion. So this next song was not known to me as a song, but I did know, and perhaps others knew of the famous line in it, "We only want the earth," which was often quoted as a statement by Connolly. But the actual name of the song is "Be Moderate."
Some men faint-hearted ever seek our program to retouch, and will insist whene'er they speak that we demand too much. 'Tis passing strange, yet I declare such statements cause me mirth. For our demands most modest are, we only want the earth. Be moderate, the who dreads the tyrant's thunder. You ask too much, and people fly from you aghast in wonder. 'Tis passing strange, and I declare such statements cause me mirth. For our demands most moderate are, we only want the earth. Our masters all a godly crew, whose hearts throb for the poor, and their sympathies assure us too, if our demands were fewer. Most generous souls, but please observe, what they enjoy from birth is all we ever had the nerve to ask, that is the earth. The labor faker, full of guile, such doctrine ever preaches, and whilst he bleeds the rank and file, tame moderation teaches. Yet in his despite we'll see the day when with sword in its girth, labor shall march in war array to seize its own the earth. For labor long with groans and tears to its oppressors knelt, but never yet to aught save fears did hear of tyrant melt. We need not kneel, our cause is high, of true men there's no dearth, and our victorious rallying cry shall be, we want the earth.
Now this next one did have music, or a suggestion of music. It was said to be sung to the tune of Clare's Dragoons. And Clare's Dragoons is an old Irish song, which comes in many different forms, as is often the case with traditional songs or folk songs or popular music. We found versions that were dirges, really, really slow and very melancholic, and some that were very fast jigs with no text at all, just the tune to Clare's Dragoons. But as you've already discovered, listening to Connolly's very literary poetry, you have to find the right tempo to be able to sing the words and make them understood. This is called Human Freedom.
And wait a second, I have a little bit of chorus to sing here. It's very easy. It's shout hurrah for freedom, shout hurrah, and then there's a longer line, freedom spark shall ride the storm. So if you can't do that, fine. But if you feel comfortable after you hear me doing the first chorus, please sing along with shout hurrah. Okay? Good, thanks.
Come hearken, all the day draws nigh, when mustering hosts the cause shall try of labor's right to live and die, enjoying human freedom. Then labor's force shall take the field, the liberating sword to wield, for labor's own right arm must shield the cause of human freedom. So
Shout hurrah for freedom, for freedom. Shout hurrah, freedom's spark shall ride the storm.
The rights our heroes' lives have bought, the truths our martyrs dying taught, the hearts of men with passion hot prepare for human freedom. Its roots are in no barren soil, but watered by the tears of toil, are spreading fast. No storms can spoil the plant of human freedom. So
Shout hurrah for freedom. Shout hurrah, freedom's spark shall ride the storm.
Our Lady of Land, alas the name, is but a sound to tell our shame. What land have they whose spirits tame brook loss of human freedom? When lake and river, hill and dale hear children's cry and women's wail of suffering rise on every gale for lack of human freedom.
Shout hurrah for freedom. Shout hurrah, freedom's spark shall ride the storm.
Our banner waves over many bands, through mountain, ocean, severed land, with active brain and skillful hands, fighting for human freedom. For ancient feuds no more divide, and ancient hates we thrust aside. Our class, we know, through battle's tide, must bear the flag of freedom. For this sincere the world began, their troubled course the ages ran, and earth in long travail for man bear seed of human freedom. For us and ours that heritage was handed down from age to age, that we might write on history's page the birth of human freedom. So
Shout hurrah for freedom. Shout hurrah, freedom's spark shall ride the storm. Shout hurrah for freedom. Shout hurrah, shout hurrah for freedom. Shout hurrah, hurrah. You're all hired. Thank you.
now, when we made the CD, we wanted very much for people who knew nothing about Connolly to be involved and drawn in. And so we wanted to include some songs that were about Connolly and not by Connolly, so that an audience unfamiliar with his role would have an appreciation of the regard in which he was held by his comrades and his generational cohort, as well as those who've come since. This is a song that was, the lyrics were written by Dominic Behan, Brendan Behan's brother, and it's called Connolly Was There.
I'm ready.
2, 3. There is a page in history when the workers they fought back, and the might of exploitation at last began to crack. In farm and field and factory, in workshop, mine and rail, a flame was lit, a beacon bright, that flame is burning still. Yes, Connolly was there, Connolly was there, brave old undaunted James Connolly was there.
Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly was there. Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly was there.
Now William Martin Murphy and his Dublin millionaires tried bribery, corruption, hypocrisy, and fear to break the workers' unity. Scabs they did enlist, but all their graft was shattered by a scarlet iron fist. And Connolly was there, Connolly was there, brave old undaunted James Connolly was there.
Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly was there. Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly was there.
And when the bosses tried to sweat the lads down on Glasgow's Clyde, a voice like roaring thunder shook them in their stride. In Liverpool and Belfast, where the worker lives in hell, Connolly rose and gave them hope. The truth to you I'll tell. Yes, Connolly was there, Connolly was there, brave old undaunted James Connolly was there.
Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly was there. Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly was there.
Oh, Irish people, the day will come when workers, one and all, rise up from their bended knee and rally to the call. Shake off those chains of tyranny and shout from shore to shore for a working class republic and freedom evermore. Oh, Connolly will be there, Connolly will be there, brave old undaunted James Connolly will be there.
Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly will be there. Connolly, James Connolly, Connolly will be there.
Connolly will be there.
James Connolly, Connolly will be there.
Connolly will be there. I should mention there that there's a reference. There are 2 references in that song that are of serious import historically. One is William Martin Murphy and his Dublin Millionaires. That refers to the great strike that Connolly and Jim Larkin led in 1913, that led to the famous Dublin lockout, which was commemorated all last year. Of course, the strike was broken, but it led to the formation of the Irish Citizen Army, which was led by Connolly, Sean O'Casey, and a number of other of contemporary figures. which was organized to defend the workers from the boss's actual attacks. I mean, in other words, they were being brutally suppressed. And so they formed the Irish Citizen Army at that time to defend the workers, and that ICA continued until the Easter Rising, and actually played an important role in the Easter Rising as an armed force. The other reference is to when the bosses tried to sweat the lads down on Glasgow's Clyde. This is important because Connolly was born in Scotland, and that's not significant just because he was born there, but because he actually was trained and became a socialist labor organizer in Scotland under the tutelage of John Leslie, who was also a poet and contributed lyrics to Songs of Freedom. And so his organizing activity actually began in Glasgow, Edinburgh, Liverpool, and then later on he came to Ireland. And so this is very important. It was definitely stressed when we launched the book in Glasgow and Edinburgh. All the Scots were very firm on Connolly being one of theirs. And don't forget the role he played in Scottish socialist labor history. And that brings us to the next song, which was actually the first song that Connolly wrote. And he composed the lyrics, and a Scot by the name of Gerald Crawford wrote the music, which we didn't know anything about. It appears in the 1919 souvenir program. You'll see the music in the songbook, but it's this strange tablature, which we discovered later was used by British missionaries to teach people how to sing Christian hymns. And so you didn't have to be literate in music to be able to read this, although as you'll see, it's a little bit confusing anyway. I'd never seen it before.
Page 38 and page 40 in the book, you find it.
But this is a rebel song to our music. Come workers, sing a rebel song, a song of love and hate.
Of love unto the lowly and of hatred to the great.
For they who trod our fathers down, who steal our children's bread,
Whose hand of greed is stretched to rob the living and the dead. Then sing our rebel song as we proudly sweep along.
in the age-long tyranny that makes for
Our march is nearer done with the setting of the sun.
tyrant's might is passing with the passing of the years. We sing no songs of wailing, no song of sighs or tears.
Our hopes and start our hearts and banished all our fears.
Our flag is raised above us so that all the world may see.
'Tis labor's faith and labor's arm alone can labor free. So sing our rebel song as we proudly sweep along.
In the age-long tyranny that makes for
Our march is nearer done with the setting of the sun.
and the tyrant's might is passing with the passing of the years. Out from the depths of misery we march with hearts aflame,
With wrath against the rulers false who wreck our manhood's name.
the serf who licks his tyrant's rod and then forgiving me.
The slave who breaks his slavery's chain, a wrathful man must be. Then sing our rebel song as we proudly sweep along.
In the age-long tyranny that makes for
Our march is nearer done with the setting of the sun.
and the tyrant's might is passing with the passing of the years. Our army marches onward with its face towards the dawn,
And trust secure that one thing the slave may lean upon.
the might within the arm of him who knowing freedom's worth
strikes home the banished tyranny from off the face of earth. Then sing our rebel song, let's be proudly sweep our love. Our march is nearer done with the setting of the sun.
The tyrant's might is passing of the years. Said the tyrant's might is passing with the passing of the years. Hey, hey.
All right.
It's worthy of note here too that as many people have asked as we've gone around playing these songs whether or not these songs were actually sung by the workers, the answer to that question is yes. And a rebel song in particular was very popular among the dock workers of Glasgow and other places. I actually met people who grandparents had fought alongside Connolly in Glasgow, and they remember singing these songs. And when we get towards the end, I was actually approached by a person in Edinburgh who sang me one of the songs you're going to hear later on, because she had sung that song in her union meetings in the 50s. So these songs were definitely sung by working people, which also, I think, when you consider the lyrical content and the poetic character, speaks highly of how people thought and articulated themselves. It was definitely not dumbing anything down for people, that's for sure. This next song is called Saoirse Rúin, which means in Irish, cherished freedom. And again, there was no music to this, but we loved the lyrics so much. Alan Burke, one of our comrades in this project, wrote this music. Saoirse Rúin.
Thou Savior yet to be, Saoirse Rúin. Dear run and life to me, Saoirse Rúin. May all I give to thee grant that mine eyes may see thee in thy majesty, Saoirse Rúin.
Hard was our travail past, Saoirse Rúin. Long held in bondage fast, Saoirse Rúin. Weary the road we've passed, by error's clouds o'ercast. Thy light breaks in at last, Saoirse Rúin.
Oft hath our master's tongue, Saoirse Rúin. Gleebly thy glory sung, Saoirse Rúin. Loudly thy harp they've strung, widely thy praises flung, yet away from you they drum, Saoirse Rúin.
Long have we sought thy light, Saoirse Rúin. Through oppression's darkest night, Saoirse Rúin. And ne'er shall cease the fight against the tyrant's hateful might, till thou shalt bless our sight, Saoirse Rúin.
Forth and we march today, freedom
again had no music. New string, sorry. Okay. This is called When Labor Calls.
Calls her children forth, a waiting world to win. Earth noblest breed, true man of worth, her rank shall enter in. Then comrades all prepare that we may hear that call on. The host of tyranny like clouds before the dawn, and drive our foes, yes, drive our foes like clouds before the dawn. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Now knowest, long has labor groaned, a robbed and beaten thrall, whilst capital on high enthroned reigned Lord and over all. But time rolled on, and earth and sky, new powers to man revealed, and science echoes labor's cry, King Capital must yield. At last must yield, at last must yield, King Capital at last must yield. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Work and wait till womb of time shall give fair freedom birth to labor's hosts, that hope sublime regenerates the earth. And by that hope we toilers fired to nobler deeds shall be, by it inspired our class to liberty, to liberty, to liberty.
This next one not only has had no music to it, but it also contained the most difficult line to sing in the entire repertoire. A lot of these lyrics are really a mouthful, and our job was to make them singable. This one has a line that says, "From theft's thick mask of fraud and lies, strip all the specious gilding." And that's hard to say just to say. And so we asked Yvonne to sing.
Well,
This is called Slaves of Toil.
When man shall stand erect at last and drink at wisdom's fountain, and to the earth in scorn shall cast the chains his limbs are bound in, then from his loins a race shall spring fit peer of gods and heroes. Oh, blessed be they whose efforts bring that day and hour more near us. Oh, slaves of toil, no craven fear, no dread of fell disasters. Kneel down ye now, then up and clear the earth, our lords and masters. Like brazen serpent raised on high in Israelite tradition, our cause in each believing, I mean slavery's abolition. We see the day when man shall rise and firm on science building, from theft, thick mask of fraud and lies, strip all the specious gilding. Oh, slaves of toil, no craven fear, no dread of fell disasters. Kneel down ye now, then up and clear the earth, our lords and masters. Oh, blessed are they whom wind and tide are weft in fortune's graces, and blessed the man whose blushing bride returns his wrapped embraces. And blessed is he who has a friend to shield his name when slandered, but blessed are all they who contend and march in freedom's vanguard. Oh, slaves of toil, no craven fear, no dread of fell disasters. Kneel down ye now, then up and clear the earth, our lords and masters. Yes, the slaves of toil, no craven fear, no dread of fell disasters. Kneel down ye now, then up and clear the earth, our lords and masters. Hey! All right. Well, I'm Swiss, so English is anyways a foreign language to me. That's why they thought the task is good for me,
Practice those THs. Anyway, this next song has a kind of a backstory to it. I mean, again, no music. We had to make our own. But during the First World War, Connolly wrote a very strong and powerful agitational piece called The War for Civilization. And in this, he decries imperialist war and contrasts the war for liberation of the working class with the war for civilization. Of course, these words are absolutely relevant today. The same language, the same rhetoric was used to invade Iraq and Afghanistan and so on and so forth, this whole clash of civilizations. And with that, I need to emphasize that a big part of our project is to get people to read Connolly, because in other words, the songs are wonderful and they're a great introduction, but his words are as relevant today as they were in 1915 or 1916 or whenever he wrote them, 1896, for example. This is called "Shake Out Your Banners," and the words are difficult to understand, but that's what he's talking about. It's the war, the war for liberation against the so-called war for civilization. Shake out your banners.
And hang on a second. There is again a chorus, and I know you can do it. It's very simple. Shake out your banners. So just watch me and I cue you in, okay? Great. You may do that too. Come shake out your banners and forth to the fight. Joy, joy to our heart that this day we have seen. When the war flags of labor salute in the light of freedom for mankind around us they'll stream. Oh, the tyrants may quake lest the blood they have poured over the fields of the earth, their crowns to be gemmed, may rise to our thoughts as we unsheath the sword and harden our heart against the spoiler. Sing with me. Shake out your banners. Shake out your banners. Shake out your banners. Shake out your banners. Aye, the sword glitters grandly, but not as of yore, when brother smote brother and murderous few, or the nod of a tyrant rushed nations to war, and the hopes of our race were overwhelmed in blood. Nay, the fight that we fight is a fight for our own, and freedom for labor a war's tocsin shall be. Through the broad earth resounding till Capitol's throne, the lights shattered for aye and the toiler is free. Shake out your banners. 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 One more time. Shake out your banners. I gotta say there is one, it's off the record, but there's one huge difference of the audiences here and back home in Switzerland. When I ask the audience back home in Switzerland to sing, they clap. So I always have to explain, this is not singing. You are wonderful. I take you home. Thank you.
Well, this next song was not by James Connolly. It was written by Jim Connolly, who is an Irish poet, songwriter, and labor activist. And it was written in 1896 or 1897. I haven't been able to determine exactly when, but it was already a widely sung song in the UK and in Ireland, in the United States, well known at the time. And it was included in the original Songs of Freedom, obviously because it was so popular and so well known. In fact, it's gone on to become sort of the unofficial anthem of the Labour Party in Great Britain. So it's widely known there, that's for sure. But we decided to include it because, first of all, obviously it meant a great deal to Connolly. And second of all, it was, if we could rescue it, so to speak, from its being taken over by people who are obviously anathema to someone like Connolly, that would be a good deed. But when we got to actually learning the song with Swiss musicians, it was particularly difficult because the tune is O Tannenbaum. And this is like not only the it's "O Canada," it's the national anthem of Canada. It's like this old kitschy folk song. Perhaps when it was originally sung, it was different. But in any case, we had to give this character that was befitting the text and the theme of the song. So we went to Detroit to get a Motown feel. Yeah. The song is called "The Red Flag."
The people's flag is steepest red. It shrouded after martyred dead, and ere their limbs grew stiff and cold, their hearts' blood dyed its every fold, and raised a scarlet standard high. Within its shade will live and die, though cowards flinch and traitors they will keep the red flag flying here. Oh yeah. It waved above our infant might when all ahead seemed dark as night. It witnessed many a deed and vow. We must not change its color now, and raised a scarlet standard high. Within its shade will live and die, though cowards flinch and traitors think we will keep the red flag flying here. Oh yeah, we will. It well recalls the triumphs past. It gives the hope of peace at last. The banner bright, the symbol plain of human right and a human gain, and raised the scarlet standard high. Within its shade will live and die, though cowards flinch and traitors they will keep the red flag flying here. It suits today the weak and base, whose minds are fixed on pelf and place, to cringe before the rich man's frown and haul the sacred emblem down, and raise the scarlet standard high. Within its shade will live and die, though cowards flinch and traitors sneer, we will keep the red flag flying here. Oh yes, we will. Oh yeah, we will keep that red flag flying, red flag flying. We will keep that red flag flying. Yeah, raise that scarlet standard high. We need that red flag flying high. Yeah, we keep that red flag flying here. Take it home. That raise the scarlet standard high. Within its shade will live and die, though cowards flinch and traitors sneer, will keep the red flag flying here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, keep it flying here. Thank you.
Now we're going to depart from the program a little bit because the question has come up in the last few performances we've given about the music that Connolly encountered when he came to the United States. And obviously there were plenty of songs in the United States. And so we decided to draw from a few that were somewhat representative of the circles in which he was obviously involved. This is a song now that I found in the Wobbly songbook, the Little Red Songbook of the Wobblies, and written as it said, a poem written by an unknown proletarian. It's called "We Have Fed You All for 1,000 Years."
We have fed you all for 1,000 years,
And here we are, still unfed.
but there's never a dollar of all your wealth
That doesn't mark the workers' day.
We have given our best to give you rest,
And you lie on crimson wool.
but if blood be the price of all your wealth,
And good God, we have paid in full.
there is never a mind blown
Skyward now,
that we buried alive for you. There is never a rat drift shoreward now, but we are its ghastly crew. Go reckon our dead by the forge's red, and the factories where we spin. Lord, if blood be the price of your cursed will, good God, we have paid it in. We have fed you all for 1,000 years, for that was our doom, you know. From the days when you chained us in your fields
to the strike a week ago.
you have taken our lives and our babies and wives,
And we're told it's your legal share.
but if blood be the price of your lawful wealth,
Then good God, we have bought it fair.
for 1,000 years,
For 1,000 years.
for 1,000 years.
that raises another question that's come up frequently on this tour, which is, did James Connolly ever meet Joe Hill? And since both of them were shot by the authorities, they have many things in common. Joe Hill was obviously a great songwriter and very popular figure as a member of the Industrial Workers of the World. And it is possible, although I've never found any historical evidence to support that claim. But there is a very interesting connection, and that is that Joe Hill normally wrote satirical texts to existing songs, Christian hymns, and then he'd convert them into parodies that were easily sung by the workers and taken up as kind of mockery of the ruling classes. But he did write one song where he actually composed the music as well, and it was dedicated to Elizabeth Gurley Flynn, who did tour with James Connolly, actually. Connolly toured with a 17-year-old firebrand, Elizabeth Gurley Flynn, and in fact, the Flynn family lived next door to the Connolly family in the Bronx. So there must have been some kind of connection, whether or not Hill and Connolly ever met. This is a song called "The Rebel Girl."
There are women of many descriptions in this queer world, as everyone knows. Some are living in beautiful mansions and are wearing the finest of clothes. There are blue-blooded queens and princesses who have charms made of diamond and pearl. But the only and thoroughbred lady is the rebel girl. She's the rebel girl to the working class. She's the strength of this world. From Maine to Georgia, you'll see her fighting for you and for me. Yes, she's there by your side with her courage and pride, and the workers' red banner unfurled. And I'm proud to fight for freedom with the rebel girl. Yeehaw, this is the band for you this afternoon. Matt Callahan on guitar. Yes, her hands may be hardened from labor, and her dress may not be very fine, but a heart in her bosom is beating. That is true to her class and her kind. And the bosses know that they can't change her. She'd die to defend the workers' world. Yes, the only and thoroughbred lady is the rebel girl. She's the rebel girl to the working class. She's the strength of this world. From Maine to Georgia, you'll see her fighting for you and for me. Yes, she's there by your side with her courage and pride, and the workers' red banner unfurled. And I'm proud to fight for freedom with the rebel girl. Yes, I'm proud to fight for freedom with the rebel girl. All right.
And then there's one more before we return to Connolly himself, and that is a song called "Bread and Roses," which was written about a strike that took place in Lawrence, Massachusetts in 1911. It was a strike of women workers, textile workers, and it was actually victorious, and it gave rise to this poem. And there was music composed to it as well at the time, but Mimi Farina revived the poem many, many years later and wrote her own music to it, which is pretty much what we did with a lot of these songs. And so we're doing her music to the poem of James Oppenheim. It's called Bread and Roses. And the significance for Connolly, I have to add, is twofold. One is that Bread and Roses became the symbol of the Irish Labour Party, which he founded in 1913. And as someone who was kind enough to point out last night at a house concert, Connolly was a feminist, and he actually made a number of stunning remarks regarding that, which in fact even John Lennon quoted once. The worker is the slave of the capitalist society. The female worker is the slave of that slave. None so well fitted to break the chains as they who wear them, none so well equipped to decide what is a fetter. In its march towards freedom, the working class must cheer on the efforts of those women who, feeling on their souls and bodies the fetters of the ages, have arisen to shake them off, and cheer all the louder if, in its hatred of thraldom and passion for freedom, the women's army forges ahead of the militant army of labor. Those are the words of James Connolly. This is Bread and Roses. Go marching, marching in the beauty of the day. 1,000,000 darkened kitchens, 1,000 mill lofts gray are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses.
We go marching, marching, we battle too for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until love closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses.
Go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing their ancient call for bread. Small art and love and beauty, their drudging spirits do. Yes, it's bread that we fight for, but we fight for roses.
Marching, marching, we'll bring the greater days. The rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more the drudgeon either than that toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories. Bread and roses, bread and roses. From birth until life closes, hearts love as well as bodies. Bread and roses, bread and roses.
We want to once again thank everybody at Starry Plough, thank everybody at PM Press for making this whole project possible and today's event, and thank you all for coming down. This song, with which we will conclude the program, is called Watchword of Labor. Again, it was a song that did have music to it. This is the song that actually a woman sang to me a version of when I played it in Edinburgh. She had sung this song in her union meetings back in the 50s. It's called Watchword of Labor, and this is our version.
And thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to spend this early Sunday afternoon with all of you. Thanks for coming here.
watchword of labor, the slogan of they who'd be free, that no more to any enslaver must labor bend suppliant be.
That we on whose shoulders are borne the pomp and the pride of the great, whose toil dare we pay with their scorn, must challenge and master our fate. Then send it aloft on the breeze, boys, that watchword the grandest we know, that labor must rise from its knees, boys, and claim the broad earth as its own.
Rule off won by our valor, empire for our rulers and lords, yet knelt in abasement and squalor to the thing we had made by our swords.
Now valor with worth will be blended when answering labor's command. We arise from our knees and descend into manhood for freedom take stand. Then send it out on the breeze, boys, that watchword the grandest we know, that labor must rise from its knees, boys, and claim the broad earth as its own. This is not Callahan. My name is Yvonne Moore. Thanks again. Have a good Sunday. Thank you.
Then out from the field and the city, from workshop, from mill and from mine, despising their wrath and their pity, we workers are moving in line.
To answer the watchword and token that labor gives forth as its own, nor pause till our fetters we've broken and conquered the spoiler and